respectful and inclusive way. I know you're here because you're furious. I'm furious too. Let's channel that rage and be vocal while respecting each other and this land that we stand on. Right on. Okay. Before we get to the rest of the program, it's important that we first acknowledge the land that we're occupying today and every day. Yes. We're hosting this event as guests on unceded Lishan Ohlone land. Yeah, it's all our responsibility to understand the long-standing history of colonialism and genocide that has brought us to reside here and to seek to understand our place within that history. We urge you to check the Sigorte Land Trust and learn about the Lishan people. And now that we've centered ourselves in this space, let's come together for some chants that we're going to be repeating throughout the program. So what I'm going to do is take like an imaginary line down the center here. This side's going to chant, whose choice? And this side's going to chant, our choice. Let's try it out. Whose choice? Our choice. Whose choice?
Our choice.
We're also going to, oh, yes, that, yes. Louder. We can do
Your
that.
other
Yeah,
love.
we need to be real loud. Like definite. Like I'm loud. Be loud. Ready? Whose choice? Our choice! Whose choice? Our choice! And we're gonna, yes, thank you, for sure. We're also gonna do a little bit of bands off our bodies. Bands off our bodies. Bands off our bodies. Bands off. All right, you guys got that down. Thank you. A few shout outs to the people who made this possible for us here today. MobilizeHer, literally, we would not be standing here today if it wasn't for MobilizeHer. They handed us the keys to the castle. We got this thing done in 5 days. Thank you very much. I want to thank our partners today, Alliance for Girls and Access Reproductive Justice, and all the volunteers who showed up. Let's give them a round. I want to do one more thing. I want everybody to make some noise if you've had an abortion or you love someone who has, because it's important that we share that in this space, and it is a safe space. So let's hear it. I want to swear so bad. I'm going to keep it clean. Okay, now on to the speakers. First up is Cynthia Gutierrez from Access Reproductive Justice. These are the folks providing the funds to support the people who need birth control, prenatal care, and abortion access. Welcome, Cynthia.
Good morning. Buenos dias. My name is Cynthia Gutierrez. I'm a reproductive justice organizer, a mama living in East Oakland. I'm a board member of Access Reproductive Justice, and most importantly, I had an abortion. I'm unapologetic that my abortion was the best decision for me, and I have no regrets about it. I gather with you all today honoring the full spectrum of emotions: anger, fear, sadness, shock. I see you and I hear you. The overturning of Roe v. Wade would only result in the continued policing of pregnant bodies. The government should not regulate when we should be pregnant, give birth, or have an abortion, especially without any sort of postpartum support for parents in place. Let me be clear, and let me say this loud and clear to all of you. Abortion is still constitutionally legal. You can still get an abortion in California. My hope is that we use these emotions to inspire action. I'm here today to uplift the incredible work of Access Reproductive Justice. Through the National Network of Abortion Funds, Access Reproductive Justice is the only abortion fund in California, located here in Oakland and supporting folks statewide. At Access Reproductive Justice, we are building towards a future where all people in California have the freedom and resources necessary to make empowered and dignified decisions about their sexual and reproductive health, including the decision to have an abortion without shame or stigma, regardless of their race, religion, documentation, or economic status. We see a future where Black, Indigenous, and people of color, queer communities trust themselves, are trusted, and have the social, political, and economic power to sustain their communities and build the families they desire, chosen and biological. For 30 years, we have been providing practical support for people trying to access abortions. And practical support, what does that look like? It looks like providing funding for abortions. It looks like providing funding to be able to have those abortions happen. And practical support includes transportation to appointments, especially as we see people coming from all parts of the state. And it includes paying for childcare and lodging for people who need to be housed for multiple days here in the Bay Area. It looks like providing emotional support, such as clinic escorts, abortion doulas, and advocacy. The majority of our callers on our helpline are in their 20s, report being low income or having no income at all, identify as Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Roe has never been enough for the most marginalized people in our states. Never. Black, Indigenous, people of color, low income, young people, immigrants, people with disabilities, LGBTQA folks, I see you and I will work with you to make sure you get an abortion today and every day. In 2021, Access supported 456 callers from 17 states, including Texas. We have been seeing increased barriers for those traveling from out of state. And abortion funds like Access know that the Supreme Court outlawing abortion does not stop abortions from occurring. It simply pushes people further and wider to access the care that they need, because people will go to whatever lengths to do what is necessary for their bodies and their families. I urge you to stay activated, to fight for abortion justice. The movement for reproductive justice needs all of us. There is a lane for each and every one of you to ensure that California is truly a reproductive freedom state for Californians and those coming here. Now more than ever, it is time for each of you to donate to Access Reproductive Justice. Today, you can go to accessrj.org and donate. This is the moment to volunteer and get involved in making abortion accessible to anyone who needs it at any time. We at Access Reproductive Justice will continue to work to create a world where people are able to live in dignity, have the resources to have an abortion or abortions, and have full reproductive autonomy. Thank you. Gracias.
Next is our first speaker. She's amazing. Give Access RJ. I want to also introduce you to Jenny, who's doing our sign language interpretation. Next up, we have Karen Weinstein. She's a courageous patient storyteller and lifelong community leader. Please welcome Karen to the stage.
Hello, everyone. and male warriors, thank you so much for being here today. I also want to thank Access California, Planned Parenthood who saved my life. Is it in the way? And all of you sitting out there who are going to fight for abortion rights. So this isn't the easiest, so I'll try to do the best that I can. I was 17 when I had my abortion. It was before Roe v. Wade. And that was a pretty tough time. And many of you may have already heard the stories and you're tired of them, but they're a part of history, and I think that they should be shared. I found out when I was 17, thank you. I appreciate your support. I found out that I was pregnant, and I just didn't know what the F to do. I was totally shocked, I was saddened, and I knew that I could not go to my family. They did not have money, and they would have been heartbroken. And I knew that I didn't want to have a baby at that time because I wanted to be able to go to college and work. And so I decided to have an illegal abortion. And boy, was that scary. Thank God my women friends came together to give me money, so I was actually able to get an abortion. But I have to tell you, at that time, it was really hard to find an abortionist. People gave names. You would call, they would hang up on you. You would call, and they would give you a passcode that you would have to call them back again. And this happened for days and days, meanwhile getting more and more frightened. And finally I found somebody, and she said, come to my apartment. And so my friends, my good friends, went with me to this apartment in New York City. I didn't know that area of New York City. And I really needed those women friends, and I was so happy they were there. And I can still remember the buzz when my friend buzzed the apartment, and we went up in the elevator, and you're basically alone. You got your women friends, but you're also alone. This is your body. And I was so scared, I thought, get me the F out of here. But I couldn't, right? So I went to the place, and the door was open. The minute I walked in, somebody came over and blindfolded me. And when you're scared, it's hard enough when your eyes are open, but when your eyes are covered, you're really scared. So they covered my eyes, they blindfolded me, took me into a room. And what I remember next was a click. The person had locked the door. And I just thought, I'm gonna die here. And what I remember after that was just a lot of pain. And a person, I don't know if they had a Bible or what, but they were just talking to me about how I was a sinner. And I would be a sinner the rest of my life. And believe me, I just wanted to get out of there so fast. And I did get out of there. I was still bleeding. My friends took me with both arms. We got into the car. It was New York City. It was cold. It was rainy. I had a big coat on. I remember looking at the lights. And we went back to my friend's house, and I bled for the next couple days and didn't know what was going to happen. And I was still feeling ashamed. I still felt isolated and afraid. But finally, my friends took me to Planned Parenthood, and I got antibiotics that saved my life. And so I will forever be thankful to Planned Parenthood. They saved my life. And when I got home and then started the rest of my life, I realized once those blindfolds were taken off of me, I could see what was going on, and that there was a war against women's bodies, against women's rights, against women's equality, and that I had to do something. I had to fight, and I had to join with my sisters to fight before Roe v. Wade became legal. And I worked with several women. We made one of the first films on abortion rights in 1970 and showed it to schools and colleges. And anybody who watched it. And we did it because when we turned on the TV and we saw the state legislatures and we saw the courthouses, there were no women. There were no women's voices. And there needed to be women's voices. So, since that day, I have been so supportive of abortion rights. And I am angry. I am so angry now with the Supreme Court. And I will fight, and I hope you all will too, until we get our rights back. Nobody will take our rights away. Nobody. We will keep fighting. We will keep fighting. We will keep fighting until victory. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep fighting. Thank you all. I love you.
Oh, God. Bring back Tom Jones.
I know, that's always like
Okay, how about Karen? Karen Weinstein, everybody. That takes courage. I want to let you guys know that rallies like this are happening all over the country right now, and our very own Barbara Lee, our congressperson, is in D.C. doing exactly what we're doing right now. On our behalf. We are not alone. It's important that we be loud and support the people who have had abortions and the medical professionals that ensure abortion access happens every day. With that, we welcome Dr. Nimi Masti to the stage. She's with Planned Parenthood, and she is a boss.
Good morning. I am so grateful to you all for being here. I am Nimi Masti. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm an OBGYN and an abortion provider at Planned Parenthood Marmonte. I've only been an abortion provider in the time that it's been legal in our country, and as I was thinking about what I wanted to share today, the primary thing that kept coming to mind is what a joy it is to provide abortion care. For those of us lucky enough to take care of patients through their abortion, it truly is an honor. Let me explain why most days after providing care, I leave with a smile on my face. When I meet patients before their procedure, they're often a little nervous, understandably so. We let them know we are here to support them and that they are in charge of everything that happens today. Once we get started over the simple, safe, 5 to 10 minute procedure, we often talk, laugh, and take deep breaths together as we get to learn so much about them in that little time. Most often, we talk about their beautiful children because yes, the majority of patients are parents. I get to hear all about their 5th grader who's so interested in animals that she howls with the wolves, their 1-year-old who has already been walking for months, and their 21-year-olds who they are so proud of for making it to nursing school, medical school, full-time jobs. I get to hear about their birth stories, the parents who successfully delivered a 10-pound baby, those who made it through emergency C-sections and kids in the NICU, and those who delivered before even making it into a hospital room. We also often talk about their jobs, their schools, and their goals. I get to hear all about how college has been going during COVID, how they're working towards getting their real estate licenses to help families live on their own land. I get to hear about their adventures as an arborist, their fulfillment in working with kids with autism, and their joys of working as a librarian. I also get to hear about what it would mean if they had to stay pregnant right now, and how it's just not possible. But I won't share those specific reasons today, because the specific reasons do not matter. Each person I get to take care of has their own critical reasons for being there, and universally, their abortion is an act of love towards themselves, their futures, and their families. As patients leave after their procedures, they nearly all walk forward with a weight lifted off their shoulders. In fact, the rare times abortion care is not a joy is a few times we're not able to help a patient with their abortion at our clinic because of their medical history. For most people, needing to take another day off work or needing to travel an hour or more to have a hospital-based procedure is a serious hardship. I feel a pit in my stomach thinking about our families and friends in half the country having to leave their communities now and states altogether for their abortions, or else not being able to access this safe, simple procedure anymore. So together, let's keep abortion care a joy for all, a time when we get to connect with one another and shape our futures in this simple way. Let's work tirelessly and bravely over these next few months to keep the bans off our bodies so we can all live the lives we imagine and continue to share our stories and dreams with one another.